How's it? I'm Henry Maton from Zombie Off-Road, and here is why I think big tires suck. So after owning Pugly for quite some time and driving on both setups, 33-inch, 35s for a few years and then switching back to 33s again, I can honestly say that I've experienced the difference in tires, and here are my reasons why I think big tires suck on a four-wheel drive. You've got quite a large, big, heavy tire. To transport these things, you've got an extra probably 6 to 8 kgs alone, if not more, on the tire.
Both tires were weighed without their rims, where the Cooper 33-inch mud-terrains came in at 26.5 kgs, and the 35-inch Goodyear Wrangler MTRs came in at 31.5 kilograms. This doesn't sound like a lot, but if you turn this into rotational mass, this affects handling and performance quite a bit.
They're quite expensive to get, usually more expensive than a 33-inch tire. And then also, they're a lot more scarce, especially if you start doing touring or camping trips, and if you lose a 35-inch tire, chances of you picking up another 35-inch in the middle of nowhere, especially in South Africa here, is quite scarce. I had to wait for a special deal on these, as obviously these are quite expensive tires to get new. I got them at a great price, and I decided to go with 35s. Now, the next problem is gearing on the vehicle. Your axles need to be geared to the proper size tires. If it's not properly geared, you cannot fix that mistake with more power. If the engine doesn't operate in its peak RPM range for the tire size, then it will either be sluggish or it'll over rev and be noisy, use excess fuel and drive uncomfortably. So here's the thing. I got the vehicle and put it on 33 inches just to get a bit more rub out of the tire, more grip, because it's wider. The gearing was a bit weird. It had very long legs. Fifth gear, you could probably only engage that over 100 kilometers an hour. And this being a V8, that didn't make really sense. So I had the gears, or the axles, re-geared to 4.7 ratio with the 1-to-1 transfer case on this specific vehicle. Normal Defender will be different. It won't necessarily need a re-gear for bigger tires. I re-geared it so I could accommodate 35-inch tires as well. That problem was set aside. The gearing was right. I had the power for this. Next up, I had to get a lift to fit bigger tires. So I had to go with a 2-inch lift on the Defender, luckily only 2-inch, so I could fit 35-inch tires, wide offset rims so they didn't rub on the radius arms in the front, and they were good to go. Now, these things immediately off the block, they look awesome. Like this vehicle with these tires on, it just suits. Proportions are good. Off-road performance, obviously the 35s are awesome, but here comes the problem. More tire, bigger leverage, bigger stress on those axles, more stress on the gearbox, on the engines. So after you've re-geared your discs, you've still got these big tires to turn. In terms of braking performance, also you can feel it on the brakes. More leverage because of the big distance from the center to the tire's tread. Less effective brakes, and especially if you've got 15-inch rims like I do, your brakes are limited to a maximum size to obviously clear the rims. Currently there aren't spare wheel covers with bin bags, which I've got on the back, which fits a 35-inch tire. So I already lose the advantage as well for packing space and throwing trash inside there. Then next up, you need to make sure your tire carrier can clear a 35-inch tire on the back. Some are designed for it, some are not. It needs to be upgraded because this won't fit underneath the vehicle. It is quite big and quite fat. And then the last thing is also fuel economy. So this tire on my car made a difference about 10 to 20%. You can feel it on the long distance, on a long trip. The fuel bill goes up, and also your engine runs a lot hotter because it needs to turn these big fat wheels. But overall, it really boils down to your preference, what your vehicle is built for. For my purpose, they suck. I prefer the 33-inch tires. Practicality wise, these do look good though. But for a vehicle that's going to spend 10 to 20% on the tracks and the rest on the road, driving dirt roads and stuff, personally, the 33s are the biggest I will go.
With all that being said, I never regret fitting the big 35-inch tires on my Defender. If it wasn't for those wheels, I probably wouldn't have tackled or completed that Maturisburg's trip in the snow. That was some hardcore stuff requiring big treads and a lot of ground clearance to clear the rocks and snow up there. I found myself more doing overlanding and touring trips recently, and for that purpose, smaller wheels are generally better. Better fuel economy, easy to get hold of, better handling on road, and overall just a better choice for me. Big tires have the place, and overall for me it's not worth it to risk the reliability, the fuel economy, and also the additional stress on the engine and the drivetrain to be able to go that extra 10% on trails.
So if you enjoyed that short information session, please comment below which tire sizes you prefer, what works best for you, and if you agree or not with me on that. Cheers, check you guys next time. Thanks for watching.